Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a no makeup look. This is something that I like to do when I just don't feel like putting on a bunch of makeup, or I'm in a rush, or, well, I guess that's kind of a lie, because if I'm in a total rush, I just don't do any makeup. I throw on sunglasses and a hat and I'm out the door. But when I like to do these type of looks, I like to make sure that my base is super hydrated. So I have a hydrating serum, a hydrating moisturizer, and then a facial spray. Then I want to go, I already put that on. Then I want to go in with a hydrating primer. So I'm going to be using the Laura Geller Spackle Hydrating Moisturizing Under Makeup Primer. The first time I used this, I had like a little deluxe sample and I was in love with it. So I went and I bought the full size. This stuff is so good. It's probably hands down the best primer I've ever used. It just makes my skin feel so, like, it almost gives my skin more moisture than like my moisturizer. I'm still waiting for these lash extensions to fall out. I have 2 on this eye and I still have like 10 on this eye. Like, oh my gosh, I've been putting oil on it. I've been using like oil-based makeup removers because I thought it would just help loosen it up, and they would come off, and like no such luck. Like, they are hanging on for dear life. So since this is a no makeup look, like I said, I want to keep it very glowy and very fresh looking. So I'm going to be taking my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundation. This is in the shade 208, and I'm just going to be doing like a little bit of this, and then I'm going to be mixing in, this is like one of my favorite cream highlighters. I also put this on my chest, not today, but sometimes I do put this on my chest because I just really like the glow. This is the Buxom Divine Goddess Luminizer, and this is in the shade Venus. I think this is the only shade of this. So I'm just going to shake this up real quick. I would use like a tinted moisturizer, but I haven't really found one that I like, so I figured I would just use like my favorite glowy foundation and then just use a little bit of it, so that way you could still see my skin. It's just going to even everything out. So I'm just going to start off with, I guess, about that much, so a little bit bigger than a pea size. And then I'm probably going to do a lot of this guy. I love this stuff, and it's a big tube. So I did about 2 pea size of the Buxom liquid luminizer and then about 1 pea size of the foundation. So I'm just going to mix that all together on the back of my hand. And this is what we have. So I'm just going to kind of place that everywhere. And I'm going to use my LA Girl blending sponge. This is like my new favorite makeup sponge. So all I want to do is just even out my skin tone. Like, I don't want you to necessarily know that I'm wearing foundation, since this is like a no makeup look. So I have a little bit more redness than usual. My skin is a little bit more dry than usual as well. I used like a clay mask, and whenever I use those clay masks, I love them, but it takes my skin a good like 3 to 5 days to like recover. So I'm just going to be adding just a smidge more foundation, just like in my T-zone and a little bit on my chin. So I'm just taking about that much, and I'm just going to dot it where I need the extra coverage. And then back in with my damp sponge. I was thinking about maybe skipping concealer underneath my eye, but I feel like I need just a little bit. So as you can see, it evened out my skin tone, but you can still see my skin underneath, which is what we're going for. So I'm just going to go in with a little tiny bit of concealer, and I'm going to use the matching Infallible Pro Glow concealer. This stuff still burns, but I love it. Like, ugh, I wish they would just change the formula or take whatever out that makes it burn. I don't know. So I'm just going to do just a little bit, just because I have a few pimples and redness still I need to cover up. And I'm just going to start blending it with my ring finger underneath the eye. and the rest with the sponge. If you're looking for a new, see, I don't really like the Beauty Blender. I never have, honestly. Like when I first used a damp sponge to apply makeup, I used the Real Techniques one, and that one's a little bit more dense than the Beauty Blender. So I feel like I was so used to that one when I tried the Beauty Blender, I was like, not for me, right? But I feel like the LA Girl one is like a happy medium in between the two of them. So I highly, highly recommend this if you're looking for a new sponge. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. I like the coverage. Now I'm just gonna quickly fill in my brows. I'm using my Too Faced Brow Envy book, and I'm just gonna be using the shade Blonde. Normally I would mix blonde and brunette, but since this is a no makeup look, what am I doing? I was doing a spoolie. I'm just gonna lightly fill them in. I say lightly, but we'll see. And this is my favorite eyebrow brush. This is the Morphe E11. So I don't want to define them like too much. I just want to lightly fill them in. So use whatever you're comfortable with. Like me and eyebrow pencils like don't really get along. Like I work much better with pomade or powder, but if you like a brush, if you like an eyebrow pencil, I would say go ahead and use that. I swear this eyebrow over here always gives me like the most trouble. So this is about as much as I'm gonna do for brows. Now I'm gonna go in with my NYX Blonde Brow Mascara. I really like this stuff. I just like it because it puts like some highlights in my brows. It doesn't really set them like my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel or my Model in a Bottle Brow Sealer, but I just like the color of this. So I always set them with this, and then after I'm done with the rest of my makeup, I go back in with like an actual like brow sealer. So now we're going to be moving on to bronzer. I know a lot of people don't like cream bronzer, but I actually really like it. I have a few, and if I have a liquid bronzer, I usually put it on the back of my hand, spread it out, and then pick it up with a damp sponge. But today I'm going to be using my Chanel Soleil de Tan Chanel bronzer. This baby was expensive, but let me tell you, this has lasted me. I've had this for at least 3 years. Gross, I know, I'm sure it's expired, but still works, so I ain't throwing it away. But I really like this. I can use this when I'm fair or tan, so it's pretty versatile. I really like it. So if you're looking for a cream bronzer, I would check this one out for sure. And then I'm going to be applying it with my Real Techniques sculpting brush. This is my favorite brush to apply cream bronzer. And I'm just going to warm up my face with this. I'm not going to go too crazy because like I said, this is a no makeup look, but I want to add some like dimension to my face. And then if I ever go like too crazy, I just go back over it with the damp sponge. Like right now, I have a little bit too much on my forehead, but that's okay because we can just blend it out with a sponge. And then I'm going to lightly contour my nose. I know if you don't want to contour your nose, you obviously can just skip this step, but I feel like my nose just looks way better when I contour it a little bit. So I'm just going to use my Artiste Oval, I think this is the Oval 3 brush, and I'm just going to use this Chanel bronzer and just lightly contour my nose. Plus this will kind of even out the bronzer on my face, so it's not just like the middle of my face is like missing, you know. A little bit above my lip and under. And then I always like to go over lightly with the sponge. Next, I'm going to be using a cream blush. I know, it's like, looks intimidating. So this is the Revlon Photo Ready Cream Blush in the shade 200 or Flushed, I don't know. So I actually have a favorite brush that I like to use for my cream blush, but for some reason I can't find it. So I decided to use this Makeup Geek Face Buffer brush. As you can tell, it's like a kind of like a circle, and that's the shape of my other brush that I really like. So I decided to just use this. So I'm just gonna lightly tap into this. Okay, by lightly I mean a lot. And then I'm just gonna kind of like tap some of it off on the back of my hand and then put it on my cheeks. I just feel like cream blush looks more natural, so that's why I like to use this. I even like it when I'm doing like full glam. It just depends on my mood, but you can see. And then I'm gonna go back over with the sponge. It just gives like a little bit of a flush to the cheeks. To highlight, I'm going to go back in with the Buxom highlighter. I'm going to put it on the back of my hand and just kind of like spread it out like so. This is how I do my liquid bronzer as well. I just put it all over the back of my hand, and then I take my sponge and I take the pointy side and I just dip into there, and then I just place it where I want it. You could also use your finger, but I just like the sponge, so I'm gonna put it on my cheekbones, your nose, Cupid's bow, and then I'm gonna switch over to the other side. Put a little bit above the brow. It's very pretty, I love it. So I'm just gonna be skipping. I've been skipping setting my concealer, my under eye concealer, because if you be patient, and I've noticed with a lot of my concealers, if you just wait it out, they kind of just dry down by themselves and you don't have to set them. Which I found that out with my Tarte Shape Tape. Like, I don't have to set if I just wait. But since we didn't really apply a lot of concealer underneath the eye anyways, there's just like a little bit of creasing. But I mean, it doesn't bother me, so I'm gonna skip that step. But if you need to set underneath there, be my guest. I'm actually not gonna set anywhere on my face today because I want that glow. This is the next step I was gonna do, is I'm gonna add some Buxom mascara. I really like this stuff too. So I can put it on, and if I just put on like a little coat, like I look ridiculous with just 2 lash extensions right there. I'm just gonna put on very, very little amount of this because I want this to stay as much as a no makeup look as possible. So I just want a little bit of mascara. But if you want like full blown mascara where you use like 2 different kinds for volume and length, go ahead. But like, I feel like I just want just a little bit. I seriously look ridiculous. Or just 2 lashes. Like, I just need to like pull them out or something. And then I'm just gonna skip the lower lash mascara. I don't ever really wear it anyways because I have like no under eyelashes. So for lips, I'm gonna be using the new Buxom Power Plump Tinted Lip Balm. This is in the shade Glowing, I believe. Looks like this. And then I thought for some shine, I'm going to be adding the Buxom Hot Toddy Lip Cream. So I'm going to line my lips. You can skip that part, but I always like to balance out my top and bottom lip because I feel like my top lip is a little bit too small for my bottom lip. So I like to like overline it a little bit. So for that, I'm going to be using this Buxom Plump Line Lip Liner in Dolly Danger. I love these. I have so many shades. Like, I love them. So I'm just gonna lightly do this. And it's pretty close to like the natural shade of my lips anyways, so. And then the other side has a little brush. So I'm just going to blend that in. I love the packaging of this. It's all big and chunky. Look at that. So I'm just going to apply this. Minty. So you could just leave it like this. I like it by itself, but I want a little bit of gloss. So when I apply gloss, I know a lot of people just go straight from the tube on, but I always put it on the back of my hand because I don't like to get whatever lip color is already on my lips like in the tube. So I always just put it on the back of my hand and then I just take my finger and apply it. I need to set my brows, so I'm going to use my Model in a Bottle eyebrow sealer and just run this through. I always like to flick those brows up and then kind of brush the other ones down. I'm gonna wait for that to dry and then I'm gonna set my face. So I feel like this makeup look would look even more like a no makeup look if I did like the faux freckles. I love it on other people. I just have yet to try it on myself, but one of these days. So now I'm gonna go in with my MAC Fix Plus. And then to set my face, since I'm not using any powder, I'm using this Project Beauty Spray Set and Go. This is more of like a matte setting spray. And sometimes I get like little dots from setting spray, so I just go back over it with the sponge. Well, that really plumped up my lips. Can you guys tell? Okay guys, so this is the completed no makeup look. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you do anything different that you really like on your no makeup days, let me know in the comments below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe on your way out to see more of me, and please thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.